In a quiet village called Okonfia, far from the city noise, lived a couple named Okachukwu and Amora. They were known for being beautiful and wealthy. Their house was the biggest in the village, painted yellow with a red roof that shined in the sun. They had 2 young children, Chika, who was 7, and Ibuka, who was 5. The children were always clean, well-fed, and wore the best clothes. From the outside, it looked like the perfect family. But inside their home, things were very different. Okachukwu and Amora loved each other passionately. They would often lock themselves in the bedroom in the middle of the day and forget that their children were in the house. Sometimes, they didn't even close the door completely. They believed the children were too young to understand what they were doing. When they were done, they would come out laughing and kissing, thinking everything was normal. But the children were watching. From behind the curtain, through the keyhole, or sometimes just from the hallway. One day, Chika and Ibuka were playing in the sand outside. They began touching each other in strange ways. Another child, Nkechi, was watching them and ran to tell her mother. Nkechi's mother came out and shouted, "Chika! Ibuka! What are you doing?" The children looked confused and said, "That's what mommy and daddy do in the room." The woman was shocked. She dragged them to Amora and reported what she had seen. Amora laughed it off. "Children play rough all the time," she said. "They don't know what they are doing." But Nkechi's mother didn't laugh. She said, "Children only do what they see. You and your husband must be careful." Still, Amora didn't take it seriously. That night, she told Okachukwu, and they both laughed. "They're just babies," Okachukwu said. "They'll forget all that when they grow up." As months passed, the children began acting strangely. They started hiding under beds, pulling off each other's clothes, and whispering about playing mommy and daddy. One day, the school teacher caught Ibuka trying to lie on top of another girl during break time. The girl was crying. When the teacher asked what he was doing, he said, "I saw my daddy do it to mommy." The teacher froze. The teacher, Madam Ifioma, was deeply disturbed. She called a meeting with the children's parents and the village elders. She explained what she had seen and what Ibuka had said. The elders were quiet for a long time. Then one old man named Baba Namdi stood up and said, "This is not child's play. When children see what they should not see, they become what they should not become." Okachukwu and Amora felt embarrassed. But they still defended themselves. "We never taught them such things," Okachukwu said. "We are responsible parents." But Baba Namdi replied, "What children see teaches them more than what they hear. You teach with your actions, not your words." The elders asked them to be more careful and to protect the minds of their children. After the meeting, the couple became more private. They locked their doors tightly and made sure their children were asleep before they touched each other. But it was already too late. The seed had been planted. Chika and Ibuka had seen too much. They had already started imitating things they didn't understand, things that were not meant for their age. The problem became worse when Chika began acting out in school. She became rude to teachers and aggressive with other girls. One day, she told another pupil, "I will do to you what my daddy did to mommy." The school was shocked. A psychologist was called in from the city. After spending a week with Chika and Ibuka, she told the parents, "These children have been mentally exposed to adult behavior. They need help, and so do you." The psychologist, Dia Ada, explained that when children are exposed to sexual behavior early, it confuses them. Their minds are not ready for such knowledge, and it can affect their growth, behavior, and even future relationships. She advised therapy for the children and strict boundaries at home. Okachukwu and Amora were quiet. For the first time, they felt guilt. They agreed to therapy. But gossip had already spread in the village. People whispered as they passed. Some parents stopped their children from playing with Chika and Ebuka. The once proud couple felt shame they had never known. Their children became isolated. At night, Amara cried. She looked at her daughter and wondered if the damage could ever be undone. Months passed. With therapy and careful parenting, the children began to heal slowly. But things were never the same again. Chika lost interest in school. She was always angry. Ebuka became quiet and afraid. He would hide in corners and avoid eye contact. The parents tried to make life normal again, but they could feel the distance. The innocence was gone. One day, Amara went to the church and knelt before the altar. She prayed for forgiveness. She begged God to heal her children and teach her how to be a better mother. That Sunday, the pastor preached about parenting and how children are gifts to be guarded with care. Amara wept throughout the service. She knew the message was for her. Okachukwu also changed. He stopped drinking at night and started spending time with the children. He read to them, played games, and asked about their day. He spoke to other men in the village and warned them, "Be careful what your children see. It can follow them into adulthood." Some laughed at him, but others listened. 3 years later, Chika and Ebuka were doing better. Chika began drawing pictures and telling stories. Ebuka joined the football team in school. The parents never again acted carelessly in front of them. They became examples of how a family can fall and rise again. But the scars remained. The memory of what happened never fully disappeared. One evening, Chika asked her mother, "Why did you and Daddy always do that thing in the room?" Amara paused. She hugged her daughter and said, "Because we didn't understand the damage it could cause. But now we know better. We made a mistake, and we are sorry." Chika nodded. She didn't speak again that night. The village later started a group called Parents of Light. They educated families on how to protect their children's minds. Okachukwu and Amara were among the leaders. They told their story to others not to shame themselves, but to save other families from the same mistake. Slowly, the village changed. Moral lesson: what children see becomes their teacher. Parents must protect their children not only with food and clothes but with wisdom and care. A home is a place to grow love, not confusion. Actions speak louder than words. Let your actions teach your children goodness, not regret.